Consequence Podcast Network.
Welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With, an audio interview podcast presented by WFPK, Independent Louisville, Consequence of Sounds, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Where are you listening from today? Can you subscribe? Can you leave a review or a rating? Please do. I'm Kyle Meredith. My guest today is the band Lovely the Band. In fact, talking with lead man Mitchy Collins about their breakthrough single Broken, which happens to be the very first song that they did. It's a #1 hit. And it was the very first song that they wrote and recorded. We'll talk about his beginnings with the band Oh Honey, as well as their songs Coachella and the new one These Are My Friends, and when we might expect a full-length record. It's Kyle Meredith with Lovely the Band.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, man.
Well, let's start here, man, because the journey of Lovely the Band is already amazing. I know the band is over a year old, but you know your very first single that's become a #1 hit isn't even a year old yet, and that's incredible. I would love to hear the journey of how you guys got to here, if you don't mind recounting that.
Oh, actually, the single came out officially April 14th of 2017, so but nonetheless, it has been a wild ride, to say the least. This project kind of started as like, for lack of a better term, a therapy session for me. I was coming out of another project, and you know, I kind of like fallen out of love with music a little bit, or you know, kind of lost direction and lost kind of focus, and just didn't really know where I was going next. And after that, I kind of took a year off just to let myself breathe a little bit, and then towards the end of that, I called my longtime collaborator, and I was Steve Mitchy Collins, and I was like, "Yo, man, like, let's get in the studio. I got some stuff I got to get out." And you know, fast forward to like 6, 7, 8 months later, we were writing a bunch, and then you know, when Broken came to be in the studio, I had that lyric, "I like that you're broken, broken like me," in my phone for quite some time, and it kind of just like fell out into this, you know, idea that we were jamming on. And I guess, you know, when I'm writing a song, I never really know what it's about until it's done. And I think that song was just my self-realization that, like, you know, like I'm not my problems, and you know, I'm more than the things I deal with, and that, you know, that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, and just, you know, embracing that. But that song was kind of the turning point for the band, for me, to be like, oh, maybe, you know, this is special. Maybe this is something more than just, maybe this is a new project. Maybe this is a band. Maybe this is the next, what's next. And I took a bunch of songs after that, you know, went back to Los Angeles, and I had met Jordan, and, you know, we'd become really fast friends, and then we were out one night, and I asked him played him some songs, and I was like, hey, would you want to do this with me? And he was down, thankfully. And a handful of months later, we met Sam, and, you know, he was like kind of the missing piece, and yeah, it was off for the races.
Now the project you were talking about, that was is that the band Oh Honey?
Yeah, it was.
So, you know, there'd been some success to a degree with that group right there. And so you I don't know, you might have known what success could look like, or, you know, as you were going there. When did you see it was finally happening, you know, with that kind of gauge on? When did you see that this was going to be much different than that?
You know, it's funny. I'm still like kind of trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. You know, the more we're playing, and the more, you know, we just fell out of #1, but we had it for 6 weeks, which is absolutely unreal to me. I mean, like when we released the song, we were all like, all right, cool, like this is going to radio, like that's exciting. Like if it gets into like the 30s, like that'd be exciting. You know, that'll set up another song. We'll be able to get a record out. You know, get on tour, whatever. And then, you know, fast forward a year later, and we're #1 for 6 weeks, and, you know, hanging in the top 5 with bands like Muse and Imagine Dragons, Thoughts of the People, like bands that, you know, we are huge fans of. It's just kind of a surreal experience. But, you know, up until, you know, you have these like kind of, you know, like, oh, wow moments, or these, like, you know, moments where you kind of take a step back, and I'm just like, because, you know, when you're in it, it's like you're just kind of, you don't really hear, it's all moving faster than you can process. But I think, you know, a big moment for me was we recently played Hangout Festival in Alabama, and like we played at like 11:45 in the morning, like super early, and we played, and our crowd was like one of the biggest we've played to all year. It was like, you know, 5,000-6,000 people, and we were like, and that was at 11:45 in the morning in Alabama.
Yeah.
On the beach, and like we were like, oh wow, like something's happening, and you know, see the crowd going going nuts to Broken and like singing all the words to the other songs and stuff. We're like, oh, like, you know, moments like that where we're like, oh wait, you know, something's happening here.
I mean, it's an insanely catchy song. It only takes one listen to get it under your skin and in your head. I mean, it's the definition of an earworm in all the best ways. I can honestly say. And for that to be your first song, for that to be your first song, like that's sort of incredible. And you know, and still when I look back, like, there are sort of similarities in your previous band and this, you know, in the sense that I can call them both indie pop in a way, but there's a lot of differences too. As you're escaping that for, you know, different musical pastures, did you have a vision of the sort of songs that you wanted to write with this?
No, I was just kind of like, this project for me was, you know, coming out of Oh Honey was like, you know, I'm proud of the work we did. You know, I'm proud of the songs we did and, like, you know, the smile success we had and, you know, we had a lot of fun. But, you know, towards the end of it, it was like, you know, the stereotypical major label band dilemma where, like, you know, we were trying to make an album. It was difficult to make it. You know, the romance was kind of gone for me because it got super corporate and, you know, just like, it just kind of stopped being fun. And that's a big thing for me. Like, I have to enjoy myself. Otherwise, I won't do it. So that being said, you know, coming out of this, and like, you know, after taking a year off, this I think is different. It's because I just started making music for the sake of making music again. You know, I just started making music to have fun with it and just for the sake of doing it. Not like, okay, we have to write a hit single. We need a hit. We need this. This is what we need to do. I was just making music to make music, and no one was telling me how to make it or what I needed to make or what I needed to say. So, you know, it feels good that, like, you know, I just got in. I was 100% myself, and, you know, people are paying attention, and it's exciting. It's a beautiful thing.
It's incredible once the pressure's off and once you just do it for the love of it, you know, what comes out of that. It's always a nice story.
Yeah.
And as far as that style, because, you know, it's a very big production in the style that you do, or the I don't know. I don't want to call it slick because I always feel like that comes across in music, but you know, it is polished and everything, and it is big sounding. Where did you learn to write in such a way? Because there's some extra talent there that a lot of people can't find to find a clean sound like that.
I mean, trial and error. You know, I love music in general, and, like, you know, like I said, my longtime collaborator Mitchy Collins, who I did all this stuff with, is, you know, he's like my right hand. You know, when we get in the studio together, he just kind of, it's a click that he's the longest relationship I've ever had. So let me put it that way. You know, we've been working together for 10 years, and yeah, he's my work wife, if you will. But yeah, we're just trial and error, you know, not trying to force too much, just go with what feels natural.
Of course, that ended up with the EP by the end of the year. The other track that gets a lot of attention there, you mentioned, you know, Coachella. Is there any specific reason why you landed on that for the song?
Yeah, that song was actually written in the back of my friend's car on the way home from Coachella in 2017, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. You know, I caught up with an old flame, if you will, and you know, someone that's really special to me, and we just had a great weekend, and I don't know, it was a very beautiful, like, emerging experience, the whole festival. People make fun of it a lot, but I feel like that's just people that haven't gone.
Yeah.
And are hating on it, because if you go, it's such a beautiful experience. You're surrounded by your friends and music and art, and it's just this really is a beautiful time.
Works as a great metaphor right there. Perfect.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it on the head. Like, with that song, it kind of, you know, Coachella is not, you know, yes, it is. I wrote it about that weekend and that, you know, that great time that I had, but also it's just, you know, finding that place of euphoria and finding your happy place in your head. You know, in your head, it's Coachella every weekend. Like, just trying to get yourself to that place in your life where, like, you know, you are at your best and living your life that way every day.
So the newest single, "These Are My Friends," that's the one I've seen recently. There's a line in it that I guess I just sent her on. I wish I was a little more loved. Is that a character that you're talking about there, or is that something more personal?
No, that song definitely, it's all about me. It's about just, you know, embracing the good and bad parts about myself. And I'm an insecure guy. I struggle with a lot of things, a lot of demons. And my first instinct whenever I meet somebody or whenever I walk into somewhere is that like, oh, this person doesn't like me for sure, or like I'm not good enough, or like if I'm in a relationship, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and like, oh, they're gonna leave or whatever. It's just this little voice in the back of my head that's constantly chirping away at that stuff. So it's like embracing, all the good and bad parts and learning how to navigate those waters, but also accepting the fact that like, you are who you are, and like you gotta take the good with the bad, because regardless of whether it is good or bad, it makes you the person that you are. And that's a special thing. There's no one who does you better than you. And but also too, on the other side of that song, these are my friends, I love them. It's about keeping your friends close, keeping the people that love you close, the people that pull the magic out of you and not the madness.
And I'm sure there's a lot of madness out there right now. I mean, and I can't imagine what kind of train, that you're on with all this, and, the workload that comes along with that. I mean, the obvious question is does this lead to a full length? Are you guys planning that, or are you just still going to kind of throw out the singles here and there for a while?
Yeah, full length is done. More info on that coming soon, though. One is done for sure. So.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. And in the meantime, I see some tourists coming up. We're big friends and fans with AWOL Nation. That's later this summer, right?
We're excited to get on the road. We met them this past weekend doing some radio stuff, some radio festivals in Florida, and they're really cool guys. And we're stoked to do a run of shows with them and learn from some veterans.
Well, I'll look forward to those, and I'll look forward to the full length when it arrives. I can't wait for that news announcement. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, Mitchy. Bye.
Bye.
And thanks to Mitchy Collins from Lovely the Band. The new single is called These Are My Friends. We'll be looking forward to that full length. Don't forget, you can subscribe to Consequence of Sound's YouTube channel to keep up with your favorite artists and interviews. And if you're listening to the podcast, please do subscribe, leave a rating and a review if I so touch you in that specific sort of way. And then you can head to WFPK.org, where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.